Okay.
Well, hello. It is that time. It's 6 p.m. on Tuesday evening, and we are Life's Co-Pilot, which we try to get some information out to our seniors and our seniors' families and caregivers of all kinds of different things. It is kind of a service that we provide from what we do to make a living. It's called Caring Transitions. We help people downsize and sell their stuff and pack and move and all that kind of stuff. But we created Life's Co-Pilot to bring real information to people for free of programs and services and resources that are out there that most people don't know exist. And so tonight we're real excited. We have Rusty Johnson, and we got I met Rusty through coming to some of our sales. Okay, some of our carrying transition sales, and and I'll let him explain why he's showing up to all those. But he has a program called Rusty Old Ranch Inc. And and basically helps with like homeless veterans and things like that. And so I'm going to have you explain who you are, Rusty. Introduce yourself, introduce this whole Rusty Old Ranch thing, and all the stuff you're up to.
Okay. I'm Rusty Johnson. I'm a disabled veteran. I was studying to become a chaplain in the Army. I got bit in the spine by a coral snake down at Fort Polk, Louisiana. I just had my 30th back surgery this past April, and took 19 years to get my disability from the VA. So for the past 14 years, we've helped 1,057 veterans get 100% disability free through the VA, and another 465 received between 60 and 90% disability, and we also did that free as well. Um, Last year, we decided that we wanted to start a not-for-profit company. We wanted to do a ranch for veterans, first responders, and children with disabilities. 79% of our veterans refuse to go to VA mental health, but 22 commit suicide every day. They're afraid that they're going to take away their weapons, and they're afraid that they're going to put them away involuntarily for the rest of their lives. And both of those are very real. It could happen anytime to any veteran. Um, so we say we're not going to report to the VA. We're going to have our own mental health doctors on the ranch. And then in Indiana, the state of Indiana has it where no longer the 911 dispatchers are no longer first responders or classified as first responders. They don't want to pay their mental health or anything else for that matter. Um, so what we're telling our first responders is whatever you're paying for mental health, give us 1/4 of it, and we cover all your people. Right now, it's only covering merit officers, the ones on the road. It's not covering their clerks, their staff, their IT people, 911 dispatchers, and so forth. We're saying we'll cover all of it for whatever you're paying. Give us 1/4 of it. You get to save 3/4. We'll take the other fourth and we'll use it, and we'll get your people taken care of, and nobody will be turned away. We're going to be doing mental health care for all three of them. And then we're going to bring in 100 homeless veterans. We're going to clean them up, get them the mental health care they need. Once they get cleared from mental health, we're going to do several things. First, we're going to get them a puppy from America's Vet Dogs, and we're going to train them how to train the puppies to be service dogs. So not only are they going to get a puppy that's going to give them unconditional love, they're going to have to start trusting our trainers to train them how to be service dogs. So they're trusting people again. Another tool in their toolbox once we release them back out into the public and communities. And then after the 120 days, the 120 days, they're going to learn how to farm. They're going to learn how to take care of animals. We're going to be raising one of our therapies we're doing is equestrian. So we'll be doing horses. Then we're going to raise cattle, chickens, rabbits, and hogs, and we're going to butcher them out and give them to needy families and such. After 120 days, we're going to take them anywhere in the state they want to go and help them get a job. After 30 days, we're going to buy them a house. They can't sell, lease, rent, or mortgage the home for 5 years. That protects them in case any other creditors try to take it away. It also protects us in case they want to try to sell it for drugs or alcohol. So we found out last year that the VA puts homeless veterans into apartments. We've known that for a few years. What we didn't know is that 50% of them are empty. They have to sleep on the floor, eat on the floor, live on the floor. The VA doesn't provide them anything except for a place to stay. So we found that out. So we got a hold of some of the counselors and stuff at the VA hospital, and we said, hey, whatever you need, let us know, and we will get it for that veteran. So we have 7 counselors at the Indianapolis VA hospital that call us and say, hey, we need a bed, a twin bed, full bed, queen bed, or whatever. We get it for them free. They need a microwave. We try to get them a microwave. We bring in furniture, household goods, clothing, and toys for their kids. So, and I'm doing that myself. When we get as quick as we can get this ranch up and running, we're going to hire 4 full-time veterans to run that program where they go. Say you have an estate sale and you can't sell everything, and the family wants to donate it over to the Rusty Old Ranch. We'll send those 4 guys out, and they'll pick up whatever you want to get rid of. Some of that stuff will be used in some of the homes of the veterans that are going to get the homes that we're going to give them. The others will go to veterans who need them. Say they have a house fire, God forbid, or they just need an extra bed for a child or an adult that comes and lives with them. We can help them with that bed. Then we're going to do equestrian therapy, aquatic therapy, music therapy, art therapy, archery therapy, karate therapy, IT therapy, fishing therapy, and woodworking. So we ought to be able to reach some of our veterans with at least one of those. So the other thing we want to do is we want to have a lodge where people can come in and stay. So say a veteran is homeless temporarily, they can come and stay at the lodge free until they can get their place. A veteran comes in and says, I'm homeless because I can't get my VA disability. So what we're going to do is we're going to have 3 full-time chaplains on the ranch covering religious services as well. But I'm going to train them how to help me get the load off my shoulders on helping the veterans get their disability. So they can work with them on how to get their VA and Social Security disabilities. And that frees me up a little bit more to get out and talk to more people and bring them in. The other thing we
Well,
want to
that's a
do,
huge benefit that VA aid and attendance and what have you is that's big money, really.
it really is. And the other thing we want to do is we want to go to some of these kill shelters for animal control and say, stop killing your animals, give them to me. We'll give them out to our veterans. And when they have a home, they'll have a puppy or a cat, whatever they need. Instead of killing them, give us a call. And so that's one the other things we want to do, because after at 16 months old, we have to send the puppies back to America's Vet Dogs to be trained for their formal training for the individual that's going to get them. So, say mine, Roxy just walked by here. I don't know if you saw her. She's a golden lab mix. She can open doors, windows, open the refrigerator, get bottles of water and Pepsi. She could call 911 on both of my phones. She helps me with PTSD and panic attacks. If I have nightmares, she pulls off the blankets, puts her head on my chest, wakes me up. If I need my wife, she'll go pull on her pant leg and bring her to me. She could pick up anything as long as it's under 5 pounds. And I taught her how to find my car in the parking lot. So she knows over 200 commands. I know 3: no, no, and no. So. But the veterans will train the dogs to learn 5 new commands every week. I think is every week, every month. Every month they'll learn 5 new commands.
Okay.
So yeah.
So now, how does this all begin, and where are you in the process?
Well, I've written over $12 million in grant requests, but the grantors want us to already have the property before they give us any money. So right now, I talked with a federal agency. They have $26 million that they haven't used. They haven't given any money out yet. He told me to apply for $3 to $5 million. I'm applying for $5 million for phase 1, which is build our administration building, build our mental health building, build a cafeteria, and start off with 50 shipping containers that we're turning into apartments for the homeless veterans. And then we'll add the other 50 in phase 2.
Do you have a location you're trying to get to, or a general area, or?
Yes, eastern Johnson County or western Shelby or Hancock counties.
Okay.
We want to be kind of in central Indiana so people can come to us from all directions without having to drive for 4 or 5 hours.
Right. Yeah, I have heard that uh, more people are turned the most of the vets who are trying for aid and attendance are rejected and they give up, eventually, so I'm not sure if it's an intentional thing or not, from but it's I know that my own experience, my father-in-law, when we were trying to get his, we were, in the senior living community that recommended, we, gave us the forms to fill out, didn't help us do it, just gave them to us. We were rejected like over and over again for over 18 months while we were trying to get the right I dotted and the right T crossed or what have you. And
Right.
finally, I got angry after 18 months of this going on. And I think at that point, my father in law had actually passed, but we still needed the money for, my mother in law. And I ended up, my son was campaign manager for Congressman Dan Burton. So I called his chief of staff because I happened to know him, at this point.
Right.
And
Right.
24 hours later, we had the money. And I'm going, you shouldn't have to know a congressman to get it done, so,
Right.
and then
And
go
the
ahead.
other thing along those lines is if you keep receipts, they can give you reimbursements for those.
Right,
I just helped a lady. She went through $180,000 worth. She's a retired educator out of Texas, and she went through $180,000 to take care of her husband, who was a pilot in Vietnam, and he retired as a full bird colonel, but now he's a quadriplegic. And for the past 3 years, she's been trying to get his VA disability, and they kept turning her down. And she came to me, and I got it for him in 4 months. And they gave him $195,000 back pay or reimbursement for the aid in attendance, and
right.
then they gave him over $114,000 for his VA disability compensation. So,
Yeah, I know
yes,
that.
of course,
But going to someone like yourself, or I often refer people to elder law attorneys that can navigate that as well, because
right.
it's it's almost the system's almost designed to make you not be able to get it, unless you
Yes,
know the right hoops to jump through.
that's through all the VA
Yeah,
programs that they have. They want to turn you down the first few times and go from there. And um, we're like, let's bypass the Indianapolis office. The Indianapolis VA regional office is the third worst in the nation. The director there is horrendous. I got him involved with my case 14 years ago. Within 10 days, he removed everything out of my medical records that said I was ever bitten by a coral snake in the spine. So I contacted the secretary of the VA, and he called me back a little while later and said that he talked to him. He told him that if he didn't put that stuff back in, that he would be the secretary of the VA's new janitor. So I had it back in within 12 hours. So I mean, he had it back in within
yeah,
12 hours. But yeah, he's like that. It's horrendous how they treat our veterans here. And I just sent a young African American veteran over to the VA regional office um, because he wanted to hand his over, and I was like, it's better if we bypass that. He goes, no, I want to turn it in. I said, okay, turn it in. So he turned it in. They stamped his paperwork and gave him a copy, and they sent him along his way. 4 months later, he hadn't heard anything, so he goes in and he asks him, I need to check on my claim. And they looked him up in the computer and they said, we don't have anything on you. And he said, you 4 months ago stamped this and hand this paperwork to me showing that you were processing my claim, and now you're saying I don't have a claim. They said, no, we can redo it, but the time starts all over again at that date instead of 4 months then. And so he did. A month later, he went back to check. Nothing, no claims, no nothing. I said, tell your brother. He had a few mental issues. And I said, have your brother give me a call. And we did it online. And within 40 days, he got his 100% disability. So by bypassing the Indianapolis office. Um, I was talking to you earlier about the Indianapolis VA regional office. 69% of our minority veterans are denied their VA disability for the first 5 years out of the Indianapolis VA regional office.
that's
So
incredible. That's
we
insane.
It's sickening. And so we bypass the Indianapolis office by going to va.gov and uploading the documents there. And any other state can pick up that, but Indiana.
So now what, I know that you've got your ranch and things like that are on the horizon of things that you need to do once you get your grants and you get your, whatever things in play. What are you guys doing right now? What are I know you're helping people get their VA money. You're helping them do, I know you're bringing in furniture because you bought furniture at our place to take it to places. So what kind of things are you guys on that are already in gear?
Well, we bring in the furniture, the household goods, the toys, and the clothing, and get those out to the veterans, and that's keeping us pretty busy. We also take in walkers, scooters, um, crutches, canes, uh, rollators, and then we clean them up, fix them up, and get them back out to our veterans. And in some cases, when we have too much, we find civilians who need it as well. So, and we do it free. So, we've had two veterans in the past. Well, now it's 2 years, but it was 18 months, a few months ago, that had both of their legs removed by the VA for diabetes that they got because they were around these chemicals in the military at different installations, and it caused them to have diabetes, and they lost their legs. Well, because the VA would not give them any disability, they kept rating them at 0%. The VA refused to give them wheelchairs or walkers or anything. They couldn't use a walker because they didn't have any legs, but they wouldn't give them wheelchairs, electric wheelchairs, or the scooters. So we provided them with the wheelchairs and, well, actually an electric wheelchair and two scooters. So
So how do
that that's
how do you find the people that in need, or how do they find you?
word of mouth right now. I mean, everybody's talking about it. We Barbara and I met John Snyder from the Dukes of Hazzard. He and his wife lived down in Albany, New Albany, I think, Indiana, and we met them after one of his concerts and talked to them. And he called me and we talked for about 2 hours. And he's interested in joining our board of directors. But he's asking the same thing. How can people contact you? And I said, people from any state can contact us for help with their VA disability or whatever. The ranch is mainly for people in Indiana. We want to start one eventually down in Nashville, Tennessee, and another one down in Dublin, Georgia. They have. I helped a friend of mine get a equestrian center down there for veterans and first responders going, but she wants to turn it over to be a rusty old ranch. So
Okay.
that way we can get more done and everything. But we're trying to bring in the money right now just to buy the property. Once we get the property, I can get the grants almost immediately. We talked with Duke Energy. Duke Energy wants to give us a $500,000 in-kind grant, which means that they will run electricity to our ranch and to each of the buildings on the ranch. And any money left over, they'll cut us a check for. So that's wonderful. We have a builder that said, whatever the cost of the building is, we'll take care of half, you take care of the other half. So if it's 200,000, we come up with 100,000, he comes up with 100,000. So I think we've got a good thing going. We just have to start getting the money in and go from there.
Okay. Do you have a timeline you think you're able to pull some of this off, or?
Well, we just talked, like I said, with the a federal agency that said they had $26 million, and they could start us off with 3 to 5 million for phase one. And once I get that, we can have our first buildings up within 90 days
Oh,
and
very
have
cool.
the shipping containers up and running. We're going to try to get corporate sponsorship to turn the shipping containers into apartments. So, say you have a company, which you do, you can bring out a team to help build, frame, drywall, put electric, plumbing. Um, what's the other one? Electric, plumbing, drywall, well, framing anyway,
HVAC.
and HVAC. There you go,
Yeah.
and get these things going. And you could be in competition with 9 other guys, if you wanted to,
Do you have like you're going with like septic systems, or are you looking at doing connected to sewers, or what are you planning on doing?
We're working with that right now. That issue with our builder. He's talking. We kind of like to be on the septic system, but there's a lot of issues when you go into the counties with the septic. So a lot of times they would prefer us going into their systems that they have. So
Right.
I think that would be the best
Well,
way to
yeah,
do it.
septic is limited amount of units and what have you. So
Right, right. And we want to end up with 100, just for the homeless veterans. So that's going to be a lot. So there you go.
if you ever want to see something that's pretty cool with shipping containers, now he's no longer with us, but Tony Shea, who is this entrepreneur out in Vegas, he created this thing called the Downtown Container Park, and it's basically a shopping center made out of shipping containers. And so they're
Yeah.
stacked up, and there's different restaurants and different stores and stuff in there. It's really pretty cool.
It's amazing what that guy could think of,
Right.
he's just a genius. Yeah.
Yeah, but
And
it's
some
worth
stuff I
going
never
and
done.
just seeing what's there because it's a pretty creative thing.
Right. Well, with the ranch and bringing in veterans, we have to keep the males separated from the females, separated from the families. We know there's not a lot of family veterans or veteran families that are homeless. We know that there are some, and we do want to house them, but there's more males than there are females. So we'll have to put more shipping containers for the males than the females, and then for the families as well. So like for a family, we may have to use 3 to 6 shipping containers just for one family. It depends on the size and everything.
Well, I know that you were talking earlier about different ones that shy away from any kind of mental health benefit or care
Right,
because they're afraid they're going to get pigeonholed or what have you.
right,
Well, yeah, I think it was during the Obama administration. I know that my uncle was a veteran, and we needed to get his VA aid and attendance, but he had to sign off that he was mentally incapacitated, which would then take him where he would no longer be able to have a weapon, or first he basically was signing away his First Amendment rights.
right,
We didn't fight it because he needed the money, one, okay, and then
right,
two, he hadn't touched a gun since Korea, so it's kind of like, well, it's
right,
really not going to impact him, okay, but
right,
at the same time, it was abhorrent to have to do.
right. Something else that we've been doing. People have been donating lawnmowers to us, chainsaws, weed eaters, tools, and we get those back out to veterans who want to start their own businesses. Say a handyman service, we get them tools. One of my friends donated all of his tools. I had 4 truckloads from his house. We separated those into 4 different uh, outfits, and we gave them out to 4 different veterans. And then he goes, I don't really like my son, but I have my dad's World War II and Korean War 45. He goes, I don't like my son. I don't want him to have this gun. So he gave it to me. And I was like, I'll take it, beautiful. And I carry it every once in a while, but every once in a while we find somebody has some nice guns, uh, but I'm not going to give those away to the government. Last year, Congress asked the Secretary of the VA under Biden, when or are you going to release the guns to our veterans who have been cleared by mental health? And he said, never, no, 5 times. He was not going to release them, even though they've been cleared through the VA. He has no right to keep them. I'm not sure how Secretary Collins is doing on that, but I think that's maybe something we should email him and ask him about. It's doug.collins@va.gov, and everybody can ask him. Let's say, uh, if you guys need any help with VA disability, give me a call. Let me know. I'll help you out. If you need help and you think it's above me, contact Secretary Collins and see if he can help you out.
So, are you working with any of the local agencies or any of the different places with that as well, or how are you getting your connections with people?
Mainly word of mouth right now.
Okay.
American Legion, VFW, and AMVETS, they have their own people that are trained by the VA, that the VA doesn't want you to know about different programs that you can apply for. So say you don't think you'll ever get your 100% disability, but you know you can't work. There's a program out there called unemployability. What that means is the VA feels the same way. They know that you may never reach that 100% mark, but they also know that you can't work. So they give you unemployability. What that means is you get paid at 100%, you get all the benefits of being 100%, but you're not 100%. Even though you're getting paid for it and everything else is like it. It's actually harder for them to take away your unemployability than it is 100%. If you have 100%, they could drop you down to 80 tomorrow. Next month, they could drop you down to 60 or zero without any reason or whatsoever. And then you have to fight for that for the next 6 months to a year, to maybe even 10 years. You keep getting paid during that time. But if they come back and say, no, you're wrong, and they win the case, you have to pay all that money back to them.
Which is
So
like never going to happen.
exactly, exactly. Um, right now, for 100% disability or unemployability, for a veteran and the spouse is $4,044 a month, which isn't too bad.
Yeah.
And for Social Security, it's anywhere from $800 to $2,600 a month. So you can be making some pretty good money being on VA disability. A lot of people didn't know that you could get VA disability and Social Security at the same time, but it's Social Security disability that you'll be receiving. Once you reach retirement age, then you get what you paid into it. So so I'll use me. Right now, I get paid $1,800 a month through Social Security. I'm 60 years old. When I reach retirement age, I'll be getting paid $3,200 a month. So, in a way, I hope I get to age real quick, real fast, But then again, I don't want to age any faster. I still
Right.
feel like I'm 21, but I just had double hernia surgery, and uh, let's see, first I had my implant removed. 2 weeks later, I had double hernia surgery. So, but yeah, there's always things that you can apply for. The VA doesn't tell you about unemployability. They also don't tell you that if you have any scars over 5 inches long, that you could get 10% for each one. They don't tell American Legion, VFW, or MVETS that. And I've gotten in arguments with several of them before. I said, check my case out right now. And they went in and checked my case. I get 60% for 5 scars over 5 inches long. All of my 5 scars are 7 inches long. So, and he goes, well, they never told me about that. I said, well, they don't want you to tell other people about that. So I do. I tell everybody about it.
Right.
There's other things that you can get. Like, say you get unemployability. There's another program through Voc Rehab that tries to help you improve your quality of life through your hobbies. I told them I like photography. They bought me $5,000 worth of camera equipment. I told them I wanted to learn how to write movie scripts. They bought me a laptop, a tablet, a 24-inch monitor, and sent me to classes on how to write movie scripts. I've written 126 movie scripts in the past 13 years.
Oh,
So,
very cool. You're talking about your farm. I assume that's the
the
critters,
ranch.
the different kind of
Yeah.
things. Those are going to be on the place once you have your ranch, right?
Yes. Uh-huh.
Okay. There's
Yes.
a guy I need to introduce you to. He is on the east side of Minneapolis. He's a retired colonel, and he is teaching beekeeping to veterans, and especially ones with PTSD. They find that it's very helpful for them because I'm a beekeeper as well, so that's why I'm kind of tuned into that. But
Right.
it is a very Zen-like thing. Well, let's put it this way: the bees will respond to how you address them. So you want to
Right.
be pretty chill and very, very, very
Yeah.
Zen because you want them to be. So and they
Exactly.
will punish you if you're not. Okay, so
Yeah.
it's
Kind of like a horse. They know
yeah,
if
very
you're.
much like a horse. Yes,
Yeah.
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 So
Exactly. Yeah.
'cause there's a
Yeah.
whole
We've
bunch of
thought
them.
about we've thought about doing that as well. We have a couple of veterans that want to run that program for us. Our archery program. I have 3 veterans that can teach you how to shoot a bow and arrow, just regular, or they can show you how to shoot a bow and arrow with your teeth and your toes.
Huh.
Yeah. And then we have artists that would want to come in and teach you how to do different art things. And the other thing we're going to do is we're going to have a little store at the front of our ranch that you could buy stuff. You could buy vegetables from our veterans doing crops. You could buy paintings, artwork from our veterans doing artwork, different things like that. And that will go directly to them, not to us. And that will help them because when we turn them loose, they're going to either one, have their VA disability and Social Security, or they're going to have a job and they're going to have a home to live in. Our veterans that we help them with their VA disability and Social Security, we're also going to get them a home as well. We're not just going to turn them loose and say, you got your VA disability and Social Security, go find your own house. We're going to help them get a home.
Well, if they're getting both of those, they probably can afford to have a place, and so they're going
Yeah,
to have a stream of income.
right. Well, they'll probably need a little help on actually getting the home, and we'll
Well,
help them.
right, but I'm just saying they're going to have more of the monthly strokes anyway.
Yes, yes, exactly, exactly. And they're going to have the knowledge. We're going to have two people come in every week and teach them how to save their money, invest their money if they want to, do whatever they want to do, but they'll learn how to do that as well.
So let me ask you a question: if these videos have a tendency over the next month on Facebook Live have a tendency to get about 1,000 people to watch them. Okay, so and I have no idea who those people are going to be, but with that said, what would you like to say to somebody out there that could be of maybe come in and be of help to you guys getting across the finish line?
Well, give us a call. My number is 317-332-4322, or you could go to rustyOldRanch.org and get our information and contact me, either email or phone, whatever you want to do. And we can get together and talk about it. We're going to be bringing with us 120 full-time employment positions and then 60 part-time positions as well. So that's 180 positions that we're bringing along with this ranch. And then we're going to have a bunch of volunteers as well to help out. So say on our equestrian program, we're going to have 4 members on each side of the child or the person of the horse. So if they start to fall off, have any difficulties, the saddle starts to come loose, whatever, they can fix it right there. They're watching for anything and everything that could happen. So
So what
we're going to make.
what do you need now? What's the thing that somebody you need to help you? Do you need volunteers? Do you need donors? Do you need what do you need? Do you need
We need the donors right now to help us get the money in. We're trying to at least get 800,000 to $1 million to get the property, and or any donors who want to donate some property over to us. We would love that, of course, but we need to get the property, then we can get the grants as well and get going on that. Then we've already had some saddles and bridles and things like that donated to us. Um, we uh, we help out at estate sales. We've been to yours, many of yours, and we was at one. They had an estate sale down in Hancock County, and they didn't sell very much because they weren't like you. They overpriced everything, not the family but the business,
right?
and so they didn't sell hardly anything. So the family wanted to donate everything to us. So I was standing in the master bedroom with the owner, and we were talking, and I was leaning up against her dad's chest, and she goes, "If you find any money, please let us know because my dad used to hide money." And I said, "Well, a lot of people hide money underneath their drawers." And I pulled out a drawer, and $40,000 in cash fell into her hands. So, I mean, what's the chances of that happening
Right,
while you're talking about that,
right.
let alone it never happening. But it went through an estate sale. It went through the family going through it, and still nobody found that $40,000 until I opened up that drawer, and pulled it
Somebody
out.
should have bought that dresser. That would have been a pretty good investment.
Exactly, exactly. They should
You
buy
know,
all your
it's
dressers.
yeah. So we had that's one reason that we can still do estate sales. I just don't think that they're practical in 2025,
Right,
2026. That's why we're doing the online auctions because first of all, it's not as expensive because it's not as time consuming to have to price everything out. But second of
right,
all, people will pay more on an auction than they will a sticker with a price on it that already has their price. Because
exactly.
once you get two people fighting over something, Lord knows what's gonna happen on that. So and then
Exactly.
usually at the end of the sale, almost everything's gone. So that's one reason we have really gravitated more towards that. Market determines the pricing, and normally there's not a big clean out cost at the end. So.
Right, exactly. And we prefer going to yours as well. We do go to estate sales, we go to garage sales, and
Right.
what they can't get rid of, they give us a call. We go back and pick it up, and then we get it back out to our veterans who need it.
Yeah.
And
Well,
and
we've
sometimes
made that phone call
other
too.
family, sometimes other family members might need it, say their children or something, and they don't have the money to help their children out. They give
Yeah.
us a call and say, can you help them out? So,
Yeah.
and we,
Well, that's very good. Well, I'll tell you what, that's exciting. I think there's a lot of things that you got on your horizon that you just need to figure out how to get to that next little step. I know you're doing things along the way,
yeah,
but it's going to be quite a thing once you can get to that next step, probably. So,
right. Some people call me a dreamer. I'm not a dreamer. I am a planner. We sit
okay.
down and we figure out what we want to do, and we figure out what needs to be done to do it. We've done that. We figured out how much money we need to get going. We've done that. We've applied for it. They told us what they need, and we're working on trying to get the property in order to meet that need, and then they can meet our need by donating to us and everything. So we're ready. We're fired up. We've got a great board of directors. I've got 11, and they're from all walks of life, and they're ready to go. We're
Well,
we're
very
ready to
good.
go.
Maybe you guys ought to look into like a professional fundraiser because there are those people out there that's all they do. Um,
Yes.
uh, I a friend of mine it has probably the largest Christian mission in India, and they
Wow.
finally broke down to do that, and that was a big game changer for them.
Yeah, I'll talk to them about that. We were going to have one a fundraiser a couple months ago, and I had what they call a TIA, which is a pre-stroke, and I had to cancel it. My wife would let me do it, so we had a bunch of autograph things and everything that we was gonna
Well, these guys
take care
are this particular business. It's their business, right? And they get
of.
a
Right.
percentage of it. But that's what they know how to get on the phone and who to call. So that's kind of what it comes down to. So yeah,
Yeah. Yeah, I'll get a hold of them and see
yeah.
what we can do. That'd be great. Yeah,
Well, sir,
we'll take any
thank
calls.
thank you so much for sharing with us. This was great. I really enjoyed it. I'm looking forward to seeing the next phase of this, and I will send you a copy of the video that you can use however you want. And then let me ask you a question. While you got people's attention, what do you want to tell people that you just want to make sure they know?
Well, we're about people helping people. It's really bad that we have to deal with one of the government's worst agencies in order to try to help us survive as disabled veterans with some of the disabilities that we have. I've lost many jobs. I lost my first home, my first marriage, vehicle, all kinds of stuff waiting on the VA to get me my disability in that 19 years. And so I understand where these people are. I understand where they're coming from, and I know how to help them. And a lot of times we can get that done within 30 to 45 days. So what we want to do is just make sure that people know that somebody cares, and it's me. And I know how to fight the government. I'm good at it. They don't like me. I don't care. And that means I'm doing a good job because I'm fighting them, trying to help these veterans. I have one veteran that was supposed to go to Vietnam. They made him do a jump out of an airplane 2 weeks before. He jumped. Neither one of his parachutes opened. He impacted into the ground 3.5 feet. Did not break a bone. God was watching out for that guy.
Yeah.
But he had a lot of internal injuries and stuff. And for the last 57 years, the VA has been denying him his VA disability. And so people like that, the VA doesn't care. They just don't care. They refuse to look at him. They refuse to talk to him. 2 weeks after he was injured, his unit deployed to Vietnam. 3 weeks later, all but 3 members in his unit were slaughtered by the Vietnamese. So now he has survivor's remorse. VA mental health will not talk to him about that. So what do we do? What do we do? Well, first thing I do is I get on the phone and I call Doug Collins and say, hey, we need your help on this. I did that. I emailed him. They kind of BS me. So then I sent it to President Trump. And now President Trump is investigating it for us to try to help this
Excellent.
veteran get his disability. So I'm a fighter. I don't like to be told no from the military, the VA, or anybody else if we know the answer could be yes or should be yes. So I'll fight until we get it. And we
Well,
do
go
it
out
for
there and
free.
keep fighting, man. That's great. So,
Thank you.
like I said, we'll get this out to people. Hopefully, some people will come in and help you with your charge.
Thank you. I appreciate it.
All
God
right,
bless.
man. Have a Merry Christmas. I guess we're Christmas
Right.
Eve tonight. So
Yes,
all right, take
exactly.
care.
Merry Christmas.
Merry
God
Christmas.
bless
Bye bye.
everyone. Thank you.